Today, we brought in overlanding experts
to break down what can go wrong when you hit the trails in your 4x4. First clip.
Yeah, you know, I woke up this morning in a good mood, told myself it was going to be a great day, and then everything kind of just went to shit.
Oh man.
If it's the axle I'm thinking it is, he's 100% fine. If you blow your front diff, you can always hopefully get out of where you are in rear-wheel drive. Unless you're stuck, then you shouldn't go alone. Never go alone.
You just got to make sure you hook up, make sure you have some recovery rope with you or something like that, and a good way to secure it down to another vehicle. If you're by yourself, you better hope you have a hiking bag with you. You know, have a pocket knife with you, have some water with you, have some food with you and stuff like that. Whenever we go out on our trips, that's pretty much what we always do, is we have a little bit of resources to hike out. But this is a pretty remote area, so this looks like it might be kind of a long hike. So I might recommend also having like a Garmin, you know, satellite phone or something, satellite text messaging service with you. That is also a good idea.
Next clip.
Oh yeah,
That looks deep. He's stuck. Oh man.
We got the Max Tracks out, South Carolina.
Hey.
I know Clay when I see it, man.
Ooh, that went right in the door. So here's what I think happened. I think he got a little too excited, and he didn't test how deep it was first.
It'll look shallow, but then you put your car in it, and it's not. It's not. That's red mud too. Red mud will suck you in. And with the kinetic rope, you have to really have a powerful and heavy vehicle to snatch you out of that kind of mud. It's almost like glue, that kind of mud.
I didn't even know there was a difference in
Yeah.
muds.
Yeah, there's slippery mud. There's like stuff that it's not. I don't like mud.
A mud tire is supposed to cut through that, ideally, because it has very large blocks, very large shoulders, very large separation, so it should clear out mud pretty quickly. And usually you need to clear out that mud by actually turning the wheels and rotating them faster so they can clean out the mud and keep propelling you along.
There was a little bit of a splash from a spin. You can see it right there, but it's only on one side.
As you can see in the video, he's high-centered. As soon as he hits that mud, as soon as his tires go into those tracks, right on those diffs, and he's
So you can't even use like a skid plate to push the mud out from under you. You're just stuck.
But Max Tracks are good to have. Good to have front recovery points on this, obviously. Good to have somebody else with you. It looks like he has somebody else filming, so hopefully there's another truck with him. One other point that I want to make is when you do go in like this, pull yourself back out through your tracks. Don't try and pull yourself through it, because it is a lot more load on all of your recovery gear, and you can snap recovery gear very easily. I watched a chain snap and almost decapitate a guy one time because he tried to pull somebody else through a snowbank instead of out in the tracks that he had already made going in.
This is a PSA. Do not go near red mud. Next clip.
It's a Jeep, of course it is.
Oh,
I knew that was gonna happen.
Oh yeah, kicking it down the trail too.
Straight axle for you. As Spring said, goodbye.
Basically, the articulation that your front axle is able to make is longer than the actual spring that you have in there.
That spring just sits on two perches. The spring has nothing holding it in there besides tension.
And if you don't have limiting straps, that's what happens, because limiting straps limit your travel.
We have some on our Ranger.
Same thing, same idea. Crawlers and trophy trucks both use them. Other than that, that happens.
Yeah,
Their
that
spring
is
just shoots out.
wild to me.
Especially in a straight axle.
Cedo spring.
It's literally just a strap that can be between 13 to 17 inches. You want to make sure that you measure those correctly so that that doesn't happen, because the limiting straps do stretch over time. They can stretch up to, I think, 1 inch or 2 inches over time with a lot of travel.
The good thing is the fix for this is relatively
super easy.
Yeah, because all you need to do is really jack up one side, get it to articulate again, and then pop that spring.
This is why Jeeps are made the way they are. Easy to fix, easy to break.
Easy to fix, easy to break.
January this year, me, Mike, Joey Rizul, old friend, used to work here at the channel, Nolan and his fiance, and an old editor of ours, Dean, all went to Rower Flats to go off-roading. It was supposed to be a super easy day, and we turn around and come running back down the hill, and we see this.
When I set out to record this video, this is not the story I thought I was going to be telling. The route Justin was taking us on was more technical than anything I had seen here before. I felt like I could get away with it in the moment, and
no, don't do this.
I couldn't.
No, weight shift, and he's over.
Joey's fine. Joey's fine.
And he's still on throttle.
Is that a 22 RE just yanking away in there?
Justin quickly went into dad mode, and he was on the phone to every off-road recovery company he could find.
You were actually on the phone to me.
Yeah. Yeah. My truck was over the hill and I'm yelling like, what are you doing? Stop!
Actually, Justin, I've wheeled with you a lot, and I know that you don't do that. You usually go, hey, don't do that.
Normally, I'll let you pass with some smart ass bullshit like this, but Mike was there, and both of us were sprinting.
You can't run.
Listen, he hits the throttle. See?
Oh, wow.
That's me.
I stand corrected.
It looks like they're at roller flats, which is rollover flats, which
didn't
is
know it was
why.
called that.
That's what it is. Yeah, be careful. Be careful.
From what he was telling me, he said he tried to switch to a different line.
Okay.
Which means he had to go over a rut into a different rut.
If you're going up a really severe hill like this, you should never try and turn your weight down the mountain. I mean, you're in an SUV or a truck or something, right? Your center of gravity is already pretty high. When you put it on its side on a hill, it's just much more likely to roll.
That's why a lot of off-roaders you'll see with the big tires stuck out more. It gives you a
So then
low
they can
center of
have
gravity.
lower-
You don't want to be tall and skinny. When you're in the air, you don't think of that. You're just like, I'm dying. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
dead. It's gone.
This is one of the things that scares me the most about off-roading. You can go up any hill and there's just a risk of rolling over.
Luckily, this is a slow roll, so it's not too bad, and I'm glad he's okay.
It's still rolling.
Because it was a slow roll. But the part in the sentence is roll, right? You're going to focus on the roll part.
Don't panic. Don't start to do this. Don't start to turn around. You're much better off, most of the time, 99% of the time, backing down. Or if you cannot back down and you have someone else with you, it's a much better idea to try and winch to them, have them winch you, have them pull you with a strap, something like that. Trying to turn downhill like this, I don't think I would ever recommend this in any scenario.
Right.
You should always try and find a different way out of this.
I agree.
Well, Joey, I'm glad you're okay. Definitely gonna miss your 4Runner.
I don't even know you, but I'll buy it for $500.
Let's go to the next clip. Oh, well, that's a nice boat.
It's probably fine, as long as they turned it off and they just have to hit a shallow enough spot and they'll just back right out.
Yeah, do you think that'll turn back on
No.
after this? No? Okay. There's the answer.
If he didn't shut it off, anything that was supposed to get air is now water, and nothing will work pretty much. You've just hydrolocked that engine.
If you are trying to cross something and you don't know the depth of it, number one, the best thing to do is walk into the water. So go get yourself into the water. Make sure that you can swim, obviously. And it's always a good idea to, if you're gonna walk into the water, tie a rope to the front of your truck and walk out there with the rope so that, for instance, if there's like really deep sand or like quicksand or whatever it is under the water, that you can kind of pull yourself back up on the rope.
Smart.
The next thing that you should do is, if you can't walk into the water, there's a couple of signs that you can look for. So number one, if the water is still, if it's not moving like this and it's shimmering on top, that actually generally means that it's pretty shallow and the wind is actually picking up the water because it's shallow enough. If it's not moving at all, it's definitely deeper. The second thing is, take a rock, throw it into the middle of that puddle somewhere and listen for the sound of when it breaks the surface of the water to the distance it travels and hits the bottom. If it's really deep, it'll be kind of a splash and then a plunk. Yeah. But if it's splash plunk right after each other, then it's usually
Golden.
Another good thing there also is that if you hear like a clunk, that means it's solid underneath. If you don't really hear anything that it hits, it means that it's pretty soggy
Super
underneath
soft,
of that.
yeah.
And then of course there's always the stick method, which is just to take a stick and dip it down in
That's
there.
my method. I bet 100% this guy was like, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Cross this thing a million times.
And then he floats away.
yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we've learned a lot from this funny little clip. So let's see if we learn some more in the next one.
All right, new Cybertruck. Oh,
Don't do that.
that's a big puddle. That looks fine. Where is it?
Dead.
Did it shut off?
Generally not a great sound. This actually kind of sounds like a plastic fender line.
I was gonna say, it sounds exactly like my truck rubbing. Because
Yes,
I put
it
bigger
does.
tires on. That's the exact sound it makes when I turn and it catches the fender liner.
Any noise like that, that's loud like that, is always scary. Like, oh, what did I do? Until you find out what it is, it's just a piece of plastic. Nothing to worry about. Really? You can just cut it off, take it off, reclip it, but
just pull it out so you can get on the trail again.
Yeah, exactly.
Number one way to avoid this, don't hit the puddle that fast. It looks really cool for photos and videos and everything, but at the same time, you can do some pretty serious damage.
This car's probably at a recall facility right now.
Probably not accepting it. Don't use the truck for truck things. Bad you.
I'm sure the guy driving or girl, whoever, is bricks.
Oh yeah, probably.
Because they don't know what that sounds.
Oh, and they just spent $100,000
Yeah.
on what is supposed to be a truck, I guess.
Yeah. And they're like, crap, I didn't turn on wade mode.
Generally, the way the wheel wells are shaped, a lot of water just flows into them when you hit big puddles. And those plastic fender liners are usually only held in with a couple of clips.
Right.
And the pressure of water against it can pop them out pretty easily.
Especially in a vehicle like a Cybertruck where the machines that put it together don't torque things down enough. So I can imagine those fender liners are really loose.
Please, Elon, don't sue me. I have no money.
So we recently just took a big long trip into Death Valley in a Cybertruck, which was going to be a lot of fun, but we didn't actually make it to the major destination we were trying to get to. When you're traveling really far, especially to go off-road, to go see the world and stuff like that, you need range. And you can't bring a charger with you because the power it takes to charge these things is immense. I don't recommend taking Cybertrucks on long trips. Next clip.
Oh,
whoa.
That looks great.
That thing is intense.
I think I know this guy online. I've seen his videos.
Woo.
Max's Trepidors and everything. This thing bead locked. Lots and lots of travel. Solid axle.
He's got all the travel.
Yeah.
No doors.
This looks bueno.
Oh, it's right-hand drive.
That thing is badass.
So what's the biggest mod to get this sort of articulation?
4-link. Basically, there's 4 links that go from the axle to somewhere on the frame here, and same in the back. So you can do a 4-link in the front and just have a regular setup in the back, or you can do a 3-link in the front, regular setup in the back, vice versa. A lot of people, like this guy, most likely has a 4-link front and rear.
What's the level where it becomes inconvenient to have this much travel and articulation?
Never. In terms of actually going out and doing trails with something with this much articulation, it just puts everything on easy mode. But also 50% of the fun is building it.
Yes.
Right? Is building something that's a monstrosity and this cool. The similarities between this and a like 2,000 horsepower car are very similar.
Yes.
It's like the 2,000 horsepower car. It's not really street drivable anymore, you know? And also, can you ever really use that 2,000 horsepower?
Nope.
Not really. So sometimes it's more fun to drive a 300 horsepower GR Corolla.
Sounds like the off-road community is all about linking and building.
Linking and braking and building and braking and braking and building and braking.
The process never stops.
Next clip.
Oh, that's steep.
Oh, it's a Tacoma. Oh.
Say goodbye to your CV axles.
What
my
the
friend.
heck?
He went to try and climb up this. He unloaded the weight off of the front axle with a little bit too much speed. When he came up to it, he hit it, and he hit it with the back axle. And when he hit it with the back, because all the weight is going up a hill, the front started to come off and lift. I'm over-exaggerating a little bit here. When you come up, the wheels start to spin, and sometimes even faster. And then when they land back on the ground, you compress the suspension. And when you do that, you put all the load into the wheel, and when that wheel takes all the load, the first thing to break generally is your CV axle, because you're spinning, and then all of a sudden all this load is applied into that spinning wheel, and then just transfers to the CV axle, and that snaps, and that looks like exactly what happened here.
Fortunately, with those kind of trucks, it is easy to take that axle right out. You'll be rear-wheel drive, but at least you can drive home. He didn't hurt anything in the back, it doesn't look like, so he can just back out of there.
At least he's safe.
He's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay. The truck's okay.
A CV axle is relatively easy to change, by the way. When I went out and ran a very difficult trail in Northern California, we had a vehicle that was IFS. We went through 3 CV axles that day, which is fairly uncommon. We got to the point where we could change out those CV axles in about 15 minutes. One thing to consider with CV axles is that it's like a purpose-built weak link. So what you really want to have happen is a CV axle snap before the differential itself breaks. You want the fuse to blow before the whole system blows. Don't just look at this video and be like, I should upgrade my CV axles. Not always the best thing to do, because if they're super strong but the diff is weak, then the diff will blow and you're in a whole different world of trouble with that. Can we watch the next clip, please, Justin, please?
More. If you need it.
More short-form clips. We need them.
Just fiending for it over here.
Please.
Ooh, that's gonna be deep. Yep, that's deep. That's crazy deep.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, it's starting to fly.
Okay, stop.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
he has a snorkel. He's fine. Keep going. Oh, the Land Cruiser.
That's so cool.
I love it.
This actually goes back a little bit because we were talking about wheel speed and
Yes.
carrying wheel speed through a puddle, and that you'll keep chugging along because the tires need to clean themselves out. This is exactly what this guy did, and that is a great use case for wheel speed.
Because a lot of people, they'll stop forward momentum, and the first thing they do is let off the throttle, throw it in reverse, and try and go backwards. Sometimes that's great, but when you're in a big puddle like that with all that water, your snorkel's doing all your work for you. Just keep it going.
Snorkel is basically your air intake rerouted out and up and above your car. If all your electrical stuff is contained and you trust your alternator enough, you can do something like that.
And kind of don't let off until you're literally sitting stationary and you have not made forward progress in 10 seconds or something like that. Or if you feel yourself starting to go down.
If you're sinking, then back up.
If this guy gotten stuck, how hard do you think this would have been to recover?
As long as he doesn't stay in one spot and keep accelerating,
digging in.
it shouldn't be too bad.
He looks like he has his rope tied around his front antennas, which is a great thing. That means he's prepared for the fact that he might get stuck in there. And what's nice about that is if you're underwater already, it's very difficult to get out and get the clutch for the winch, disengage, pull out the rope and all that stuff. So if you're about to go into deep water, what you want to do, disengage the clutch, take out a few yards of line and stuff, tie it up around something like that. We've done it before where we've actually taken it out, we throw it in through the window with us. If, for instance, we get stuck, we just open our window and throw the line out.
Someone else grabs it.
Somebody else grabs it.
And that way you don't have to get wet.
You don't have to get wet, and the clutch is already engaged on the winch and everything like that, and all you have to do is sit in there. Hopefully you have a wireless remote for your winch, and you just whee. Good idea. Nice job on this guy. He did all the right things.
Let's dip into the next clip.
Oh, where's he going?
Oh,
Whoa!
ice. Slippery.
Yeah, he's like slipping up there.
Oh, that's no. Oh yeah, you're fine.
Oh.
Oh, it's great.
No.
Oh no, move. Why would you?
That was going fast.
These guys waited till last minute to move.
Do you think they're all friends still?
Yes.
Okay. I'd hope. I'd want to hope so, but you never know.
But I can tell you the main problem with this right here.
What happened?
Jeep people.
This generation, a Jeep is one of those cars where you can just go to a dealership, buy it, and then go off-roading with no experience.
Unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They'll buy a Jeep and they're like, I can go anywhere. It just turns into something like this where they can't control their vehicle because they don't know not to slam their brakes on in the snow. They don't know how fast to accelerate. They don't know how to basically control it in an almost uncontrollable situation. If you're going off-road and you're bringing your friends and they might not be as experienced as you, do them a favor and help them. Don't let them try to figure things out by themselves. Be a friend. Even if strangers, trail etiquette. If anybody's stuck, anybody's having a hard time with anything on the side of the trail, we stop, we ask if they're okay. It's just part of the community. Just be a good leader. Love each other.
Yeah.
Toyotas and Jeeps come together, man.
Let's go to the next clip.
Okay.
Should there be
steering wheel,
volume?
Pointing. We have our transfer case selector.
Transfer case selector.
Sway bar
disconnect. Front.
And rear.
Drive.
Whoa! Yes, so when you buy a Rubicon, these are all the things that you can now do, which is being able to go over small curbs, sometimes big curbs. But I can see why you'd buy a 4Runner and never take it off-road because it's still like a manageable car. I don't know why you'd buy a Wrangler and never take it off-road.
I just say if you're gonna buy a new 4x4, understand what everything does. Don't just lock your diff and say, yeah. You know, you gotta know why you're doing it, situations that you should do it. It's always kind of fun also to take your car or truck without turning any of those options on, see what you're capable of. And then turn all those options on while you're going and see, okay, that makes this difference, that makes this difference. You get experience like that.
If you want to see even more off-roading fails, make sure you click right here. Thank you, Zach, for coming out.
Natasha, thank you for coming on the show.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Go watch all our other videos. Check out our main channel, Donut Media. Y'all have a good one. Bye.